Good afternoon, guys, and welcome back to another episode. I'm the Friendly Investor, your favorite investor channel, and today I want to talk about the Workhorse, the recent news with the USPS contract, who's to blame, what we can learn from this decision to make the best financial decisions moving forward, as I think it is a very bitter moment for all us Workhorse investors. But what can we do now to make better financial decisions to get that financial freedom in a couple of years? Before we start, it's not financial advice, it's for entertainment purposes only. So let's just look at the current pattern of Workhorse over the year. We can see it's very low, about 255, shot up with all the news, and it was relying heavily on this USPS contract. We see the ups and the downs, keep increasing slowly. Then we find out the market was all the market was going down here, to be fair, so the contract doesn't really have anything to do with it here. And then all of a sudden, just that massive dip where they didn't have the contract and everyone just sold. Unfortunately, I did make a loss. Let me know what if you ended up making profit or you lost money. Let us know. Let's all mourn together, guys, and teach and tell us what you're doing different to not make this mistake again or to minimize the risk again. And other things I want to talk about in this are YouTubers and the news to blame for this decision really impacting your loss, because I do think that YouTubers, they should play a role, including myself, to provide all parts of the information and not just one side of the company. If there's multiple vehicles running for the USPS contracts, no matter how it can seem like a one-horse race, is clearly not always the case, and this is a great scenario. So the piece of news I want to talk about is happened on 25th of January. I talked about it previously, and this was the news that really swayed my decision, where it said Biden wants to replace the government fleet of electric vehicles, and the only one that had electric vehicles at the time was Workhorse. Ford Oshkosh don't actually have one until a proper electric vehicle until 2023, so I thought that the model they would have at least got some form of contract. Fortunately, that's not the case. And that's just how it goes. We should have maybe I know that Workhorse are appealing it, but I doubt it's going to go anywhere. This could take forever. So it's not. I think if you are a long-term Workhorse investor, I think just take this on the chin and just hold it, because they do have other things going with their drone technology. They may be able to partner with UAV Canada and get some sort of aerial vehicle partnership going there. And then they've got a couple ones for a couple million, which is good. It's more their level at the moment now, because a billion may have just been out their reach. And I think everyone wanted to hop on that rocket ship, and it just wasn't to be. But let's just look at their balance sheet, because no one really does this for some reason. I didn't do it. I'm going to start introducing it now, because I think it's really important to look at their financials and not just the news, because the news, although what they have in their plans, every company has amazing plans, but without the financials, you can't execute it as much as you want to do it. Like, you can do it as much as you want, but without the financials or the backing, you cannot do that. And this company, as we will see, they were relying heavily on the USPS contract, which just wasn't to be. And we see that they had cash equivalents 23 million. It has increased their total cash 23 million compared to 4 million in 2017. So that is good. The profit they made was about, the only bit of profit they made was about 588,000. Sorry, that was their revenue. That was in their most recent, or like the previous quarter, they only sold 2 vehicles. So, but this is what we should have really been picking up on, those small red flags, which you don't really think about until it happens. And the reason why we didn't really think about it, well, pretty much what happened was they sold 2 vehicles. This means their profit went up by 10,000%, or like 9,999%, something ridiculous like that, from 2 vehicles, which showed they weren't really in demand as we thought they were. Like, the news was telling us all the green lights except the red lights, which were the actual facts, and no companies are really selling them. And I can see from this that they're going to have to build some sort of repertoire and some reputation with the smaller companies before moving on to Amazon and maybe UPS in 10 years time. But by then I can see some of the larger companies like Tesla creating their own delivery model and just dominating the whole EV market by then. But that's just only time will tell. And the last thing I want to talk about is the other bits of their financial. Their market cap is 1.83 billion. Bear in mind, yesterday it was about 3.8 billion, so they've lost a lot of money. It's about 1.4 now, so this is quite an outdated source, but only by about a couple hours. But it is dropping rapidly. I can see it going to about 1 billion. This stock, it will probably drop about a bit more. They really, there's not really much going for it at the moment until they keep just developing and growing. They are still a small business, and I think everyone was just hoping that with all the news that everyone was saying that they're going to grow extremely fast, but that doesn't always happen, as we've seen with Churchill Capital and Lucid Motors. They had a $15 billion merge and they went down. I did a video on this. I thought it was going to shoot double, because that means that their current market cap is about 25 to 30 billion, 21 to 30 billion is very huge, and huge growth as well, because they're a great company. But it shows that the market can play a lot. But what's happening here, I can really see the stock going to about $10 over the next couple of weeks, maybe by the end of the week, and it's probably going to drop down to about $5 to $6, my prediction, and it's going to hover around about may climb to about $10 to $14. And then once they start getting news, I can really see it start to pick up, but that's about 3 to 5 years down the line. So if you are a long-term investor, this is quite a good investment, but there are so many other better EV stocks invested, in my opinion, that it's not really one to think about right now. But if you've already made it, are you a Workhorse supporter, that's great, but I think you just make sure you look at your finance and not just the news and what they want to do, because that sold us all dreams. We wanted to go on that rocket ship, which wasn't the case. And the last thing I want to talk about, are YouTubers to blame? To an extent, the short answer is no, but the long answer is yes. I think YouTubers should have some sort of liability, not on the person, or not at fault, but they do have responsibility to give all the fans and the people, on the viewers, because this is real money. People have probably lost a lot of money in this. People have lost a lot of money in this, and they should make sure that all the information they're doing up to date. It's quality. It's not fluffed. And this is a perfect example. It's not. I don't think YouTubers pumped and dumped it because of how large it was, but I do think that YouTubers, some of the larger YouTubers who have been promoting Workhorse a lot, I'm not going to say who, I do feel that there is potentially, not just them, but I do feel like other YouTubers who are large audience are pumping and dumping penny stocks. So I do think it's wrong, where they'll just buy like a stock that has 100 for a penny and they'll tell everyone essentially to buy it, and everyone does. He buys it, they sell, they make some profit from it. I feel that is wrong by taking advantage of that, but that's a different matter. I do feel that YouTubers should take more responsibility to look at the financials and not just what news is going on out there, because without the financials, it's good to have fun. You need to have strong financial performance. If you don't have the best financial performance, you have to make sure that everything else is going perfect. Well, you need to make sure that financial performance is perfect, then everyone else can. But if you have good financial performance, nothing else is really going on, you're still doing quite well, because you'll have a strong grounding, strong foundation. Whereas without the financial grounding, you can't really go anywhere, and you can't really do what you want to do without that backing, and you rely heavily on pretty much Hail Marys, which is this. In this case, this is what it was. It did seem like they were going to win, but unfortunately it doesn't always go like that. Let me know how much you gained or lost from this, and what you learned from Workhorse yourself, because you may have already think I already know this, but let me know the lessons you learned so we can pass it on to other people in this channel, and to hopefully increase our financial understanding and education, because I feel that although this is quite bitter, that is a really good time to learn from it, and we can grow from here. Cheers guys, don't forget to like, subscribe. It was a pleasure doing this video. Let me know what stocks you want me to discuss later this week. Cheers guys, bye bye.